So I'm going to read you guys a series of tweets from 21-year-old Zachary Penton's account, and we're going to figure out together if you think this, if any of this is problematic, as you know, some people would use that word. But so it starts off very simple. Why are girls so difficult?
I ask myself that a lot.
Yeah, why are girls so difficult? That's something I've probably tweeted out before. And Zach Penton liked to shoot guns. That was his hobby. He would tweet out, kind of want to shoot, kind of want to gym, kind of want to swim. And some of his followers thought like shooting a basketball. It wasn't. It was shooting guns. If it says no guns allowed on the front door, I ain't going in. Like, you just see an escalation in his tweets here where it starts to become like, oh yeah, like guns went from a hobby in my life to like, it's a part of my identity. I need more guns, the Twitter photo. And then on June 3rd, he tweeted about buying a gun. Holy shit, buying a gun is so easy.
Ugh.
And buying a gun is very easy in America, especially in certain different, maybe certain places in the South. Anyway, anyone want to shoot a little bit today? Anyone want to shoot today? And then it gets a little weird because it's like there's a lot about guns on there, but then, you know, on August 19th of 2016, 2 months or 3 months after he's bought his weapon, I need to move out of my place before I viciously murder my roommates. Now, up to this point, when I was reading this article, I thought like, whatever, this is just a normal person who likes shooting guns and likes tweeting about it because, whatever, maybe he doesn't have any friends because he doesn't really like his roommates that he said he's gonna viciously murder. Then he actually, 2 days later, viciously murdered one of his roommates. So, this is interesting. I want to hear what you think because, like, some people are pointing to this and saying, like, oh, it was so obvious. Like, look at his lineup of tweets. Like, are we gonna start charactering people from 140 characters and say that this is like, you know, it's a symptom, or these are symptoms of a mass murderer because they're talking about like murdering people? Like, have you ever tweeted something like vicious like that?
I don't think so.
Do you know people that are totally normal people otherwise? Like I
don't think so. I mean, I'm trying to think of like the people that I follow on Twitter that I don't think I know anyone that really tweets about their day-to-day sort of the monotony of their life.
Yeah, I know Twitter's a little outdated for that format.
Usually it's like jokes and like news updates for me. But this, you know, Haas, this story like really broke my heart when I saw that we were going to be talking about guns in America. That was what the link to the story was. I thought that it was just sort of a general discussion, and then to see this almost as a timeline of a specific case where everything is just so clear cut as far as this guy was struggling with anger.
Struggling with women, which is really important. Like these are all common problems that like most shooters, or common symptoms that most shooters have.
Right.
Like they're usually young men. Mm-hmm. They're usually white, and that really doesn't have a lot to do with it. But it's just these are stats, and they're usually they have guns or they like to talk about it, and then they end up. But most importantly, they're frustrated with sexual repression. Like they have a lot of pent up aggression that. Is driven from
and then
not being active sexually.
And then just to see how easy it was to gain access to a gun.
Yeah.
And I think that's what just makes my stomach kind of flip is how he just sort of outlined how easy it is in the United States right now for someone who's really angry, who is coming up with a plan, and who is practicing and really thinking about what they're going to do to just carry out this plan.
Well,
I think that's what's really scary.
No, I don't think he mapped it out. I don't think he was like, okay, so here's why what I'm saying is even more dangerous. Like, I don't think this 21-year-old kid thought, I'm going to viciously murder my roommates, like for real, like when he tweeted that out. He was angry. In a moment of anger, he tweeted that, right? Mm-hmm. What's really dangerous is that this dude is a normal dude, probably. And even when you're a normal human that is frustrated with girls, like everyone goes through that when they're younger, right? And shooting is your hobby, whatever. Like, let's say he's not shooting to like figure out how he's gonna be able to execute people multiple different people. Like he's not gearing up for this mass murder. He's just a hobbyist. Like that's his hobby. Shooting guns are his hobby. It's totally normal. It's hard for a lot of people in our international audience to understand that. It's even hard for me to understand that because like I didn't grow up in this gun culture, but there's definitely a gun culture in America, in the middle of America, where there are a lot of responsible gun owners that have a gun, they go to the range, or they go out into the backyard, or they go out hunting, and these are all normal, like these are interesting, normal parts of their lives, okay? This kid could have easily been that person. But because guns are so easily accessible, it's so easy to get a gun that in an instance where even a normal human, like this 21-year-old, after a minor altercation or a fight with one of his roommates, could escalate it and then shoot him and then end up shooting and killing him. That's what's so troubling about this, isn't the tweets, it isn't the fact that he's detailing like, oh man, girls are so shitty, or oh, I want to go shooting today. Do you guys want to go shooting with me? Those aren't the troubling aspects, even though this article tries to make it seem like this is a lineup, this is a timeline of how this person, like, fueled his mania and then got a weapon and then went out and murdered one of his roommates. It's not that. But it's even scarier. What I'm saying is even scarier. That, like, you can be a completely normal human. You can even be a responsible gun owner who goes to the shooting range every, once a week or whatever. And you have the safety on at all times. But in the end of the day, when you have a murder weapon on your person or somewhere that's accessible, like somewhere in your house, and you get into a fight, sometimes there are instances where you feel so angry you want to kill that person. Like, and why give a means, like why give this person a tool to murder? Do you see what I'm saying? That's what's really scary, is that any normal human could be in this situation.
Yeah, I just want to clarify. When I said make a plan, I don't mean that I know that he did this sort of in a fit of rage. Yeah. What I mean by make a plan is that if he were to be like, if you're going to kill someone, how would you do it? He knew. If you were to ask me right now, Grace, you have to kill your roommate, how would you do it? I'd be like, what? I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Stab him in the eyeballs with a fork.
Fine, but like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't know what to do, and I think that what really unsettled me about this was that this guy knew, like when he wrote that tweet of like, I'm gonna kill my roommates or something, when he said that, with the intention behind it, he knew how he would do it, and I think that's, and also like, I just don't want to brush past the fact that, whenever we talk about guns in America, usually it comes after there's been a loss of life, and I just want to, we just acknowledge it. It's like, it's really heartbreaking that we can talk about, I think it's so important to have you here because you are really good at being rational and talking about the issues, and I think that I find myself less articulate in these sorts of stories because it's like, it's hard for me to imagine that the friends of this guy and the family of this guy that is now dead because of this asshole,
And look, it's just, I don't know. We talk about this so much. We talk about it so much, and it's just not going to be solved because depending on what your ideology is, depending on what your mentality is, like if you're an advocate for more gun rights, then you're going to take this and say it's a mental health problem. You're going to look at this kid's history and say, well, it's a mental health problem. What do we do about it? At least expand universal background checks, but regardless, this person legally bought his gun. And one thing I wanted to say, okay, I just remembered what I was going to say. Like, we see these images of, just crazy psychopaths, like serial mass murderers that are meticulous and they premeditate their murders, like in the media. But that's not how a lot of people die in the hands of guns. Like, accidental gun deaths are more frequent than serial killers using weapons to kill people. So that's why it's so strange. That's why it's so dangerous. Normal humans using guns is the real threat to America, not serial killers. Not serial killers and mass murderers, even though we like to talk about the mass murderers because it's like the same problem just amped up to the highest degree. But the real issue is normal humans in houses that have guns and are not responsible enough to carry it. And in my opinion, I wish no one had a gun, to be honest. Like, I'll be open about it. And I'm everything that the conservative, gun rights advocates fear.
Well,
because they think like
you're not gay. That would be worse.
No, but I'm just saying like they are afraid that when we say we want to expand to universal background checks, like when they say that private, even when it's a private trade of a weapon, by the way, which is legal, like I can give you in certain states, like my brother is in Oklahoma. And one of his friends could easily give him, like, I think it's called a 80%, 20%. Like, he could give him a 20% made gun that isn't like registered at all. And then he can go and then with a 3D printer or by going to like an ammo store or a gun store, he can complete that gun and have like an unregistered weapon that was gifted to him. Like, it's crazy. There are so many different loopholes where if you want to have a weapon that's not registered, or even if you want to have a weapon that's registered to someone else be gifted to you, you could do that. Like, I don't know. There's so many issues. There's so many issues with gun rights in America, and it's just we can't. I don't understand why we can't make at least certain steps.
I'm optimistic for reform, I will say.
I'm not, because whenever someone says anything about gun legislation versus gun rights, everyone instantly thinks like, oh, it's a slippery slope. If we give them an inch, they're going to take everything.
That's true.
They're going to take away our guns. Like, no one's taking away your guns, bro. Chill out.
Yeah,
but
bro.
let's take away at least, like, let's make it a little bit more difficult for people to get guns, please. Anyway, we want to know what you guys think. Obviously, you're going to say American gun laws are crazy. Or I want to know if any of you guys own a gun. And leave us your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm Hassan Piker. This is Grace Baldridge. And we'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.